Welcome to my van build. I'm going to go through the process of me building this van out. I've been searching for how and what van to build for about 2 years, and ultimately decided on the GMC Safari. Here's a lot of my inspiration as far as off-road vehicles go: solar panels on the roof, really cool roof racks. Interior, I want it to be a working interior, but also like you could camp in there as well. So it needs to be kind of a back and forth, but it also needs to look nice and have good style to it. And you can find a lot of that in the Sprinter van world. My whole idea was not to make a camper van, off-road camper van, and not to make like a full production vehicle that just is a gear hauler. I wanted somewhere in between. So when I first got the van, it was like owned by a painter or something, and it was a 2004, and I got it with about 100,000 miles on it. So in the GMC Safari world, that's a pretty easy van to fix and maintain, and it's a strong engine. It's a Vortec V6, so it's gonna last. So here it is after I cleaned it out. Just got all the muck and grime out of there and removed everything. There was a lot of like holes and dings and scratches, and there was things screwed into the walls through that exterior, so there was holes in the exterior from the interior. So the up front seats were all fine. I just I tinted the front windows and just kind of cleaned up that area. Plans on putting the stereo and everything in next to. So here you see there's the all-wheel drive, and we have a lot of dents everywhere. There's one there, there's one there. There's just dents and dings all over this thing. A big crunch in the back, and there's a big crunch in the back door too. So there's going to be a lot of body work. I took it to my guy, Burke's body shop, John, and had him do some of the body work. They did a really good job pulling out all the dents and dings and bondoing up everything. It wasn't an easy process for them. It was in the shop for about 2 weeks, getting all the dings and dents pulled out, drilled out, smoothed out, and ultimately primed up and ready for So here it is right before it goes to paint, the last little layer of sanding and priming, and all the blemishes are basically pulled out. This is the reveal of the Rhino liner. So I went with like a seafoam sorta. It's called Dragonfly green, and this is the van after lots of body work and the Rhino liner. It's important to note that if you choose to put Rhino liner on anything, just know that it's the last paint job you're ever going to get. Like, you cannot fix it, you can't repair it, you can't do anything. You just spray it on and stick rubber, and you can't do any of the door jambs or anything like that because it gets too thick. So you just do the exterior and call it a day. It's scratch proof after that, Starting to do some of the interior woodwork and stuff, and the installation process. So this insulation is like a fiber, and what you do is you just basically get a bag of it, and you just take a handful of it and start stuffing in places, and you want to cover it as many places as you possibly can. You want to fill it up. All these little metal areas that you can't sneak other stuff up, just fill it up with this kind of stuff. And it doesn't really matter what you get, just get some sort of insulation. I just chose this so it doesn't get moldy and stuff. It's like the green stuff that's good for the environment, whatever. There's holes in, and all those like holes in those areas like that, you need to fill those things up. Those are important to just stuff all the metal areas with as much. And then everywhere else, you're going to fill with the 1/2-inch foam. Other areas that gets thicker, you can do 2 layers of it, but basically you do a layer of that. I was doing 2 layers and then a layer of Reflectix. That Reflectix is like the last thing you put on before you kind of start building your base. So now we are building the bottom benches there. I'm gonna do 2 benches on either side. One just covering up the wheel wells. I'm also going to leave room for my motorcycles so I can strap my motorcycles in. I got 2 little motorcycle mounts that go in the back. I took off the 2 front chairs to really like get everything cleaned on the bottom, and it was good to do that because all that extra like flooring that they had, like I found some really grimy stuff, so it's important to get that out of there and put all brand new stuff if you can. The brand new stuff I'm going to put in is this rubber sort of gym flooring. So I'm just going to do a whole roll across the bottom, and make it all clean. Before I do that, I'm going to put in little strips of masonite to really level the floor out, because once that rubber goes in, I don't want to like have ripply floors. So here's the masonite strips, and the rubber will go strapped down right on top of it, and I'm going to glue it a little bit. Here's the look of the rubber after it's done. And I got my E-track in there as well. Next up is the fan. So I'm going to cut a hole in the roof for the fan, and I'm going to put that 14-inch fan in there. So it's a little nerve-wracking to cut a hole in a roof, but it's well worth it, I tell you right now. Taking a little trip to the fabrication. It's Evan doing the fabrication of the roof rack at Aaron Cobras. We're going to build a fully custom roof rack that has like a minimal footprint as far as like how high it sticks up. It's going to hold the solar panels. It's going to hold a person. So if I want to get up there and shoot and strap down boxes or anything like that, I can. It's also got to have a nice, perfect hole for my fan to pop out. We're going to build some little brackets and stuff for like LED lights and things like that to go up there to make it look all nice. So I drilled about 40 holes in the roof and lined up in between each one of the sort of dividing brackets in between on the inside. And that's really the best place to brace it. I'm not going to say it's like a perfect thing, but it works really good now. After that there's these 2 sort of rails that pop up. But those fit like a Yakima ski box, so I can put a box and stuff on top. So I'm going to build a ladder up to there, to the top, so that you can climb up. We weren't going off a design, we just sketched something up and built it. And that's the beauty of this, because you cannot find good racks for these GMC Safaris. And all the racks are just built for like painters, ladders, things like that. They're not really like these cool off-road utility racks that a lot of things, like there's a million possibilities for Jeeps and Sprinters, but the electric is a big task. My buddy Klaus and his team kind of attacked this. I did a lot of research, but it was really about somebody who knew how to do it. It's not about trial and error for me on this one, because I don't want to have to buy a bunch of things that I end up not having to use. So we took apart everything. Get the solar hooked in. I've got 2 deep cell batteries. I'm running about 220 amp hours power.
Fuse was closed, and
you don't know which one is it. You have to take this off,
right.
and then if not done it, then you gotta go back and
right.
watch.
and we have a little bit of LED lights inside now, and now we're building out the frame to put all the panels on the interior. On these GMC Safaris, I'm building out the panels in the interior. Is you want to keep thin. You don't want to build it out too much, because you'll be surprised. These things are pretty small inside, and you just don't want to lose any room. And 2 inches on either side of the interior they're gonna end up being a lot. So after I built all that stuff out, like I made a little bit of a shelf so I can have a little kind of camping shelf and a gear holding shelf in the back. So here's the Seafoam Safari. This is how the van turned out. You can see I got all the clean white interior. Got a bunch of hooks hanging up everywhere so I can plenty of places to strap gearboxes down and strap things to the walls. Really proud of that rubber floor. It was working out amazing. Like, boxes don't slide around. It's comfortable to kneel around on. We have these hooks too that I can just hook any sort of my boxes. Interior lighting was great. I got a couple little cubbies to just kind of put everything away. Production monitor swings out, show the client the footage. The fan was a key thing. This fan really sucks the air out and is really important. All the different plug outlets for the solar. Plugs underneath the seat, an exterior hookup for RVs. There's a CB radio and PA system. A couple of lights. I have exterior lights for work lights on the side, and then at the front it's a big light bar for can walk around up top. Powder coated it like a toothy gray, and then the ladder is a sparkle gold. It's a Seafoam van. It's important this thing looks pretty cool and different. So I wanted to keep all the extras real nice looking. It was a very fun build. It was about 3 or 4 months of build process. I'm still going to be working on other things of it. I'm probably going to do some bumpers and some wheels and lift kit in a little while. But it's working great for me right now, and I will just slowly build out a little bit more here and there for it. It's exactly what I wanted in a small, easy to drive around the city style van that really carries everything. Nice alarm system, got everything sort of tucked away and organized the way I wanted it. You know, climbing up to the roof on that rack works really good. The solar is always charging my batteries. My batteries are never dying. Charge station for the cameras and the batteries and things like that. And it goes off-road. This thing will go out and you can go off-road camping with it. Check back in for updates. I'll be posting more about where this van's going and what it's doing.